I used to work as a high school teacher. And then I met Alex Chapman, who I wrote Rush with. My musical journey like totally shifted after I took mushrooms for the first time. I have the stems for the demo of Rush from the first day.
Charli XCX and Troye Sivan, Talk to Me.
Yeah,
that's a big
remix.
one.
I went to Jamaica recently. I'm working with Zara Larson. What's that fine line between like a DJ dance song and a pop song, and how can they like be the same thing at the same time?
Welcome to another episode of Songs You Know with a very special guest, Zhone.
Nice to meet you.
So happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I had Kesha here not too long ago, and she was raving about you.
Oh
and
my
she
God.
says, you gotta meet this guy. He kills it on the tracks.
I'd love her so much.
Yeah,
that's
she connected
amazing.
us, and then I texted you, and you were, I'm gonna come.
Got you. Oh, that's so great. No, me and her have made a lot of music together over the last year, so I'm so excited for
Great music too. When I listened to Joyride, I thought, wow, that's next level. I wish I could do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So good.
Just trying to have fun, I think it's the whole MO right now.
So tell us, well, first of all, for everyone who doesn't know who Zhone is, I'm sure you know Rush by Troye Sivan, right?
Yeah.
And Charli XCX and Troye Sivan, Talk to Me.
Yeah,
that's a big
remix.
one.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and then also Happy World with Debbie Dawson, right?
One of my favorites, yeah.
Love that one. Great. And of course, Joyride, Kesha, and a lot of others. And they all have dance beats to them, right?
A lot, pretty much. Like sometimes dance beats in different genres, but I don't know. It's the time of dance music and pop music.
Yeah, are you a DJ?
I DJ like very sparingly, but so many of my best friends out here are DJs, and like that's their thing. So I've kind of, learned the language of dance music through that.
But it's amazing, like you kind of make dance songs pop compatible. So on the radio, these are actually the versions that DJs can play in the clubs, right?
Totally. No, I mean, that's my whole thing. It's like, what's that fine line between like a DJ dance song and a pop song, and how can it be the same thing at the same time?
Yeah, because usually it's like the dance version of the original that's not really...
Totally. Yeah. How do you make a song not sound like a remix?
Yeah.
From the
so
get-go.
Your name Zhone, where does it come from?
Zhone was, I used to tour with a band called Chaos for a couple of years to my best friends, Ossie and Chloe. And it was a street name in San Francisco called Zhone Way, but
spelled that way?
Yeah, spelled that way. And we just thought the word was so funny, but it kind of became like my alter ego on tour. Would be like, like Zone's coming out tonight.
Yeah, I love that name.
Yeah. So it just stuck. I needed like a producer name, and I was just like, you can't really choose your own nickname. So
I thought it came from In the Zone.
Yeah, well, that's like kind of what it is now, Like, I don't think one session goes by without someone making some sort of Zone
joke. Yeah,
during it, which is great.
And you are from Maryland, right?
I'm from Maryland, yeah. I'm from Frederick. But I lived in Baltimore for a bunch of years before I moved out to LA. I used to work as a high school teacher.
You were a teacher?
I was a high school teacher.
Were you strict?
No, not at all. I was like the cool teacher. No,
the cool dude.
I taught high school for like 3 years in Baltimore. And then COVID hit and I quit my job, and I was like, I'm just going to try producing and just anyone.
It's like the American dream.
Yeah, it was insane. I was like, anyone who would pay me any amount of money, Craigslist ads for $30 to make a beat or whatever.
Wow.
It was like anything.
That's incredible.
And then I met Alex Chapman, who I wrote Rush with.
Yeah.
I met him online during COVID. I mean, him just started making music together. Through him, I met my publisher and like my mentor, E-Man Kiriakou. E-Man was like, if you want to move out to LA, like you should come out. And I bought a one-way flight and was out here like 4 days later. And that was 3 years ago.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
Crazy.
And if we rewind even more to when you were like, what was the first song you remember that impacted you, where you thought, wow, I'm really feeling something?
I remember, like, I might have two, because I remember the first pop song that I heard that really impacted me, which was Umbrella by Rihanna.
Yes.
It's like, I remember the moment being in the car and that coming on, just being like, why am I so obsessed with this?
How old were you?
I must have been like 11 or 12. Yeah, I was at summer camp.
Has his Ella.
Yeah, it was the best thing ever. Just the drum beat. I was like, it was over after that.
Good.
It was like literally the best.
Who wrote that song? Was it The Dream or
maybe? Was it I'm actually not totally sure who that song. One
I
of the
love
best.
that song. What a good one.
But I grew up on like, my dad played bluegrass and like Irish Celtic music growing up.
What instrument?
He played guitar and mandolin.
Nice.
And so like I kind of picked up guitar. Both my brothers knew how to play guitar. My dad knew how to play. And so like I like, as rebellious, I was like, I'm gonna need to learn how to play guitar and I need to be better than all of them, you know.
Did you have a band together? A brothers
no, but
band?
we played together at like all the holidays and stuff. So it's like one of my brothers plays banjo, my other brother play guitar, my dad plays mandolin, my sister and my mom sing. And,
wow, really?
yeah,
That's amazing.
It's adorable. My most recent instrument I bought was a Celtic harp. Like I got like a full size Celtic harp because it's like my favorite instrument.
Is that smaller than an orchestral harp?
It is smaller, yeah, and it doesn't have all the floor pedals and stuff, which is like.
And you can play it?
Yeah.
Celtic music?
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I grew up on that, so like that was like my first like introduction to music was.
It's always got something spiritual and magic about the Celtic music that is just gets to you. It's so good.
Oh, 1,000,000%, and I love bringing that into like pop music whenever I can too, because there is this like, you know, like timeless quality to it.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, you brought your computer, and you're my first podcast guest. My first podcast guest who brought a computer.
Love it.
And, I was wondering if you could maybe dissect one of your hits, like Rush with Troye Sivan. If we could like look into the bones of it, how you created it, how you make a beat even. Yeah,
totally. Well, this one I have the stems for the demo of Rush from the first day. It was me, Alex Chapman, and Novador. And Novador started the beat. I remember that he started with the, I think it was this loop. Such a good top loop.
Nice, yeah.
And then...
Is this 2 loops together or is one?
That was just one loop, and then he kept building on top of that with the kick and the snare. Okay, with the clap.
But it's minus the metronome, right?
What do you say? Yeah, minus the metronome.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
That's great.
You know, just groovy right off the bat. And you know, when we sent this version, it has this 16-second long intro. We were like, we'll probably cut it in half, but it stayed, and it's just so much better that way. But then
that's rare too, that you have a 16-beat loop, like a groove intro.
Totally, which is such like a DJ move.
DJ mix, exactly. Yeah.
But it worked so well in the song. And then of course there's the.
I feel the rush. Addicted to your touch.
At the start of the song. So this is the most fun part, was recording the those are the first. It was recording the gang vocals. Which was originally me, Alex, and Novador, and then when Troye and Leland went in, they recorded on top of it.
What's on your playlist? What are things you listen to in private?
I listen to lots of old music, especially when like we're at my house. Like it's like I love like 70s Italian cinema soundtracks and stuff like that. Yeah, totally. And you know, I've been listening to a ton of Simon and Garfunkel recently.
Nice.
Just like, I mean, just the lyricism is so amazing, and I'm almost like, what are we doing these days? Like it was so good back then. But then, you know, like I try to stay up to date on like fresh stuff and like find new cool artists to listen to. I mean, you know, I loved the Charli album so much.
That was great. Yeah, groundbreaking.
Just amazing. I've been like a Charli stan for a long time. Like I've studied the music, and like to see her have like such a moment this year was like amazing.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, she's the best.
You've been traveling recently. What are some countries that impressed you, that you really liked?
Yeah, I went to Jamaica recently, which was amazing.
For work, yeah?
For work, yeah. Working with Zara Larson, which was great. And
did she rent a studio? And
Yeah, we were at like a studio.
It was like a group
complex.
of people coming?
Yeah. Nice. It was an amazing trip. I went to Amsterdam this year, which I think was probably my favorite city I went to this year.
It's crazy,
like,
yeah.
I was like, I could totally live here. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. I'm excited to announce that we are launching a Patreon. This will be a place where you can find out about our upcoming guests, where you can get exclusive access to BTS footage, like for instance a walk through Greg Wells' studio. You can even submit your own questions that we're going to ask in the podcast. That's going to be so much fun. By joining this community, you can help tell the stories behind some of the biggest songs in music history. Thank you for your support. It really does mean everything, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Hope to see you there. So what inspires you to make music?
I don't know. I feel like there's something about taking the natural world and kind of like trying to express it musically, or like taking like, you know, the feeling at looking at something or being in nature, or like kind of having this like weird connection to the earth. I feel like when I have that same feeling when I'm making music, like I know that I'm doing it right.
So you grew up in nature. You're
yeah, totally. And like I'm like totally like kind of a hippie about it. But I like my musical journey, I don't know if I can say this on the podcast, but like my musical journey like totally shifted a couple years ago after I like took mushrooms for the first time.
Oh.
And I like tripped, and like it just like it all made sense.
What was it like?
That. It was just like feeling this connection. I was able to like feel my connection with music like in my gut all of a sudden. Like I knew when something felt good and when it didn't, and I never second guessed myself after that.
What kind of mushroom was it? Is mushroom legal now here? I think it is.
It's
right?
like weirdly legal. Yeah. No, I took like.
But it's not like the Paul Stammet kind of mushrooms. It's like another level of mushroom, right?
Yeah. It was like it was a truly psychedelic experience, but I don't know. It just kind of like it gave me the insight to like as to like what kind of music, how you can make music that other people feel also, versus just making something for myself that I didn't know how to translate.
Yeah, describe that experience. I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, no, I think like after that is when I knew that like I needed to move to LA, I need to do all this stuff. But yeah, I think like especially like finishing a record is about like how do you make sure that the listener is staying in it the entire time.
Yeah.
And like what choices do you make to make sure that like how do you not confuse the listener when you're finishing up a record?
And your music, I mean, I love you have like a DJ approach. Sometimes you repeat one lyric 10 times or so just because it feels good, and it's a little unorthodox, which is, in my opinion, always revolutionary if you try to reinvent music your way and just how you feel it. No rules, whatever you want to do, you do, and it works.
Yeah,
so,
no, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, yeah, I think sometimes the thing that can actually feel really good and normal is a crazy idea.
Yeah.
And, you know, and not limiting yourself to be like, well, that like people aren't. I think about the Kesha song. It's like starting with like a weird Radiohead chord progression on the accordion.
Did you really play that accordion?
No, well, it's funny. We did have an accordion player record it once, but it just didn't sound as good as like the like MIDI or like accordion.
Can't beat the samples anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I was like that like we just already had it. But
was that the genesis, like the origin of the song? Like you had the accordion and you said let's build something around that.
Yep.
That's
and
so
like,
funny.
Kesha's so great because she was like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Like we have to do that.
She's come a long way, Kesha. That's incredible.
What an amazing, like,
yeah, I've met her when she was 16 or 17 and we worked together. And then now, like, fast forward, I don't know, 15 or 20 years. And we just recently worked together with Armin again. And it was
amazing. Yeah.
Such a time lapse. So weird.
It's amazing. I mean, I just like where she's at right now. I'm just like, I'm so excited for her.
Yeah.
You know, as
finally
an artist
free
and as a friend, but like, yeah, exactly.
It's actually completely obscene how a label could keep her hostage for so long, just based on deals that should be illegal. Like, how is a record deal like this even allowed? Why don't the smart people in the label not say, let's end this deal? It's not moral. Right. There should be a moral obligation towards your artists to do what's good for them.
Absolutely.
I don't understand it.
No,
it just drove me crazy when she told me that story.
Totally. And, you know, we still see it with artists and these like antiquated deals that don't even make sense with how music is paid for and distributed. And like, you know, it's insane. But Kesha's gonna have a big year.
I think so.
Yeah.
She's in a good place too. It was nice to see her like that. She was healthy. She was herself. She felt like a really good place spiritually as well.
Totally. And I think like she's just such an amazing songwriter too. Like at her core, you know, and like she comes from that. So
like inspiring other songwriters. This podcast should inspire people to make music and do what they want to do. Like, what have you learned along the way? What are some do's and don'ts and tips and tricks that you could pass on as a producer?
Totally. No, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like just trusting in yourself that like what you think feels right and is good and just like going as hard on that as you possibly can.
That's easily said, but it's so hard to do because
super hard to put into practice.
You look at the Grammy winners, you look at the charts, you look at everything where you shouldn't look instead of looking, just like you said, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good.
Absolutely. And it took me a really long time to understand that. And it took me a long time to parse out like when was I making it for myself and when was I actually just trying to make what I thought people would like. Yeah, I think like my other thing that I think about a lot that I think helped was like whatever helps you like make music that day is the right impulse to be following. And because you just have to make music every single day. Like there's no, because I feel like I would always like be like, just make a song today. Oh, but like I don't know if I'm gonna make a good one, or I don't know if I'm, you know, but like any tool that you have, or like sometimes it's just buying like a tiny new like instrument box or something, and like whatever gets you to make music that day is the important thing to have.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
versus being like, oh, I need to have these speakers and this interface and like this plugin. It's like, if those things aren't inspiring you, then you don't need those things.
Yeah. We always have a fun segment in the podcast.
I'm so excited.
Okay. It's called Guess That Song.
Love it.
And audience can guess, you can guess. And I'll play just a few notes, not as few as possible.
Okay.
We can also play more notes, but maybe you know it. One more note. There it is. Oh my God, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
I don't know the name of this.
Relax. Don't do it.
There we go. Okay.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
So good.
Trevor Horn, genius.
Oh my God, great song.
Wow. All right, let's do another one.
I'm ready.
This one, yeah. I'll give you one more.
Okay,
one more. No? It starts with the word I. I got.
Oh, I got a feel. Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Also, one of these songs where I think it's pure genius. It's so simple.
Oh, one of the best
and
ever.
It just gets
so
every
good.
party started.
Yes, 1,000,000%.
So good. Will I Am. All right, one more.
Yeah, this game.
I'll give you one more note.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Take On Me.
Again, I think a song that was groundbreaking and inspired generations.
Oh,
so
for
good.
Sure. Also, a music video that like.
But what does the lyric mean?
Yeah, what does the lyric
Take
mean?
on me?
Take on me, take me on.
Yeah. I never figured it out.
Whatever sounds good is good. You know, it doesn't have to make sense.
Okay, here's another one.
Okay. I don't know.
Purple rain.
Oh,
Purple rain.
it's so funny hearing something like that out of context and like how completely different the vibe is. I love that. Bum, bum, bum. It sounds like a children's nursery.
Okay,
rhyme.
here's another one. I don't know if I can play it right. Oh yeah.
500 miles?
No. No. I want to ride my
ride my bicycle.
bicycle.
Queen, gotcha.
Such a great
That's
song.
good. Amazing song.
Yeah, super creative also.
Yeah, definitely.
And the
yeah,
video,
they were
video
doing
was
anything
outrageous.
back then. Yeah, you could do anything. There was no rules.
Yeah. Okay, one last one.
Okay, let's do it. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Nice.
Such genius.
Classic.
Right?
You know
Everybody
it right
at
away.
playlist 2 after 2 notes, you know it. That's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
only songs where you play 2 notes and everyone knows the song.
Insane.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's the kind of melody you want to write.
Yeah.
That people instantly know what it is.
Was this Rodgers and Hammerstein or who did that? I think must have been them.
Was there? Yeah, Rogers Hammers.
I mean, that's really, I think, if you can write a song for the generations that, like, I don't know, 100 years later or 50 years later is still relevant.
Yeah,
well,
just as
insane.
relevant. No, it's crazy.
So I give you prompts and you can just elaborate on what comes to your mind.
Cool.
Yeah. So happiness.
Happiness is like eating food with my friends and family.
Mm,
That's it. That's my happiest place.
nice.
And I feel like sometimes making music is so that I can then make food for my friends and family. You know,
Are you good in the kitchen?
Yeah. I grew
Yeah?
up in a restaurant. My
Wow.
parents owned a restaurant growing up.
Wow. Do you grow your own food too?
No, I want to, but I
You
don't-
can grow almost everything here in California.
Yeah, exactly. I need to like have the spot where I can do that. But yeah, no, cooking and music are like just as equally important to me almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When is enough enough? Like thinking about, a career and
Totally.
thinking of your trajectory, you're like fully on the up now. Is there a point that you imagine where you think enough is enough?
Such a good question. I've gotten this advice from some people in the industry, which is such a funny thing for me to think about. But it's like they're like, you have to have a number, like, and it's like once you have that amount of money, like you can't keep going because otherwise you're just gonna drive yourself crazy just trying. After you have $20 million, you need $100 million.
Yeah, because capitalism never ends.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And it's this whole thing of
bigger,
like,
bigger until, I don't
Right.
know, until you die or.
yeah. So I think it's like, yeah, when you get to the point where you have songs that are long lasting, that's the point where you've like done the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Failing.
Failing's amazing. I think it's so important to fail. I failed so many times in my life. I tried to move to New York after college. I ran out of money in like 5 days. My dad had to come pick me up,
He
and
did?
I'm like,
Oh, that's a
yeah,
good dad.
yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
After 5 days.
Yeah,
already?
yeah,
How
literally.
did you lose all the money in 5 days?
Because I didn't have any money, So it's like my parents were like, you should not move there. I was like, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Over. No, I think
protective parents if they come after 5 days.
Yeah,
Get the
exactly.
son.
like being able to take the lesson from big failing moments, because I feel like there's so many moments in the music industry where it's like, oh, like I was gonna have this song with this big artist and then it all fell through and like wasn't
Yeah.
my song, or I have a session with someone that I've been so excited about as one of my favorite artists, and I come out of the session and I was like, I did a terrible job and we didn't connect. And and it's like, but those are like the best learning moments. And the more you're like cool with failure, I think the more ready you are for growth.
I agree. I think this
Yeah.
business is like 95% failure, and
Yeah.
every now and then something happens. But if you don't keep going, a lot of people just don't make it past that.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, authenticity.
Authenticity is more important for artists now than like ever, in a way, where like there's nothing to hide behind anymore. And I think that the kids of this generation like are really good at sussing out when someone's not being authentic, like even online and
It's so
stuff like
funny,
that.
like the evolution of social media, right? It now evolved into a place where perfection is not what we want anymore, because AI can be more perfect than we are, and we're actually looking again
Absolutely.
for authenticity. It's like, what's authentic, what is not polished and perfect.
Yeah, I feel like an artist like Chapel Roan is like just like such an authentic, like so authentically herself, and like the music
Yeah.
is so authentic in that way,
That's why it resonates.
and
yeah.
that's why it resonates with everyone. And like I think some more like manufactured pop stuff of the last couple of years that like the industry's like so set is going to be a thing and it doesn't work, and now everyone's like, why isn't that happening? It's like, well, it wasn't authentic to begin with.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spirituality.
Spirituality is super important to me in music making, and like having some connection to whatever you want to call it, God or the source, the whatever,
source.
the
I like the source.
the connection between all of us. Yeah, I like to think of it as like the source that you pull from, but like I've just found the closer that I experience that through creation, like, and through making art with other people, the more it resonates. And the more it resonates with me, and the more it resonates with other people.
Yeah. I feel music also gets us into a spiritual place.
Definitely. It's so meditative. And I
Yeah.
love.
If you could be a fictional character for one day, what would it be?
That's a great question. Lord of the Rings, probably. Let's go Legolas. I was gonna say Frodo, but I was like, I don't want to go through all that. Yeah. Let's say Legolas from Lord of the Rings.
The favorite book you've read?
The last book that I read that I loved was Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. Like, true account of climbing Mount Everest. So insane.
Wow.
Like, just such an amazing story of also just someone doing this insane thing, and then also just seeing like all of the horror that comes out of trying to accomplish something that.
All the dead bodies along the way when you come up? Oh,
yeah, and people dying on the route. He climbed Everest he was a writer who went to like write about Everest and climbed during the deadliest year. Wow. Or it might not even be the deadliest anymore, but it was at the time.
Do you climb mountains?
No, but I used to hike a lot growing up.
Did you do the Appalachian Trail?
Yeah.
You did?
Not the whole thing, But I've hiked like many hundreds of miles of the Appalachian Trail.
That's like a many months.
Yeah.
Right?
And I know people who've done that for sure. It's like, I've hiked.
Mike Posner, like hike across America.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool.
I saw another kid who skateboarded across America.
Wow,
it's crazy. But
you skateboard, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm not good, but I love.
Yeah, I wish I could do it. That's you can only learn it when you're a kid.
Exactly.
When you're grown up, you're just gonna smash your bones. All right. What excites you lately? What are you into these days?
That is a good question. I love. I don't know. I'm just excited for the new year. I'm excited for what's to come. I feel like the best thing about making music is you never know which day you're gonna like make something that's gonna shake it all up or change everything for you, and it's like it's kind of like gambling in that way. But no, I'm excited to be back in LA, and
is there like one record that you've listened to the most all your life? Back in the day, it would be a vinyl where the track's like worn out.
Yeah. There's a couple. My favorite piece of music ever is by a composer named Steve Reich. Music for 18 Musicians. It's a minimalist piece. It's like an hour and a half long, and it just moves through these pulses of chords and stuff. It's amazing, and I've listened
to look it up. Is that orchestral or what?
It's orchestral, yeah. It's live instrument, but it's almost sounds like it's electronic in the way that it's played, even though it's totally live instruments. It's just like that piece has always stayed with me. That piece always like gets me into my like meditative zone. So
that's great.
Yeah.
What's like a perfect date night out for you?
That's a good question. Go to Bouvel in downtown. I love that restaurant so much. And then maybe like wine bar after that. Yeah. I feel like that's it. I'm just like drinks.
No discotheques? No dancing?
Dancing maybe. That comes later, I think.
What are like the clubs you like in LA?
Oh my God. I'm more of like a bar. Like I play pool and stuff.
Oh, we should play pool.
Oh, I'm so down.
I have a pool thing up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love playing pool. It's like my favorite thing.
So we have to do a sequel and just to
that's
teach me some tricks.
Podcast. Yeah.
Can you do some of these insane jumping tricks?
No, I can like jump the ball like what? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't really do anything crazy, but yeah, I like a dive bar vibe. Like I'm from Baltimore, and like we had great dive bars there. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some quick fire questions, like just this or that.
Cool.
Very quickly. So, mountains or oceans?
Oceans.
Hike or bike?
Hike.
Hike. Great. Piano or guitar?
Piano.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince.
And London or Los Angeles?
London.
London, right? I love London so much too.
So much.
What a great place. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Summer. Okay. Water or wine?
Wine.
Salad or steak?
Steak.
Steak, okay. Mars or Earth?
Earth.
Same. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Cruise ship vacation or trekking exploration?
Oh, trekking exploration. For
sure.
Yeah. No cruise ships.
Great. Yeah, we would get along.
Yeah.
Stoplights or roundabouts?
Oh, stoplights. No, the roundabouts.
Stoplights, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Roundabout thing. Too European.
I love the roundabouts, especially at night when the stoplights just keep you waiting for no reason.
That's true. That is the best.
That makes me so angry.
But yeah.
Idiosyncrasies.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the episode, please like or subscribe. And if you give us a 5-star review, that'd be amazing. Thank you so much for being my guest on this podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.